All right, welcome back to Ron's Garage. Oh, let me turn this fan off. I don't know if it interferes with you hearing me or not, but that should be better. All right, so I took out the radiator. What a pain in the butt that was. It was not on its original mounting bolts, so it was all cockeyed a little bit in there. I suspect it was mounted in the right place. If I look at the mounting bolts on the mounting holes on the radiator here and here, it's got those welded on nuts. Looks like it mounts, or should mount, to, see if I can do this, and we can all see, to here and down here. So it looks like it was supposed to be on the front side of this core support. But keep in mind, this had a 6-cylinder in it, which kind of is weird a little bit because this was, the 6-cylinder is longer than a V8, so not 100% sure, but the front's probably different. But anyway, got the radiator out so I could really see what's going on here, and I got to have that thing checked anyway. So what I've got is I went ahead and set the alternator back in on the lower mount, and took a look at some pulleys. I don't know if you can tell or not. I've got a stick here. Here it is. A threaded rod I was going to use for transmission linkage. But if I run this down from here, you can see it's really far away from that crankshaft pulley. So that's wrong. That's the wrong pulley for the crank. Maybe. If I put the original water pump pulley back on it, I don't know if you can tell, but that's quite a ways off. So that might be the pulley though for the long water pump. I have to wait and get the long water pump and find out. If I put the pulley on that I got from the guy, it goes on there and it turns, but it rubs. And no, it doesn't rub at all. But it's still not the right one. And that's about 2.5 inches, 3 inches off. So I know that might be the short water pump pulley, just like the guy said. So I'm in a holding pattern there. Unless, so here's where it all comes in. If this motor had power steering on it, maybe one of the belts went to the power steering around the water pump and that was adjusted, and then another one went from the water pump to the alternator and that was adjusted. That may be too, I don't know. But I know they made these in all kinds of configurations, so I'm sure I can find the right pulleys. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the crankshaft pulley off. I don't know if you can see in there. It's got 3 9/16 bolts and then that one in the middle, which I think is 5/8. What I do with my light. I've got all these nice magnetic base lights and no flat base to sit them on. So that's special. Rock washer down inside the pulley. So anyway, taking this pulley off to see if the one I got from the guy works. And I know this is all, you know, doesn't matter anything until I get the long water pump and try to match these up. But I'm just kind of winging it here, just making some just observations. So I keep forgetting to watch to see if the camera's picking up what I'm doing. So, but again, I don't, that pulley I got from the guy may match up to that alternator perfectly. I don't know. Alright, let me get that center bolt out. I guess for 5/8. So, I'll set you down here for a second while I change sockets. And see if I'm going to be able to get that off one-handed. What are the bets? What are the bets on it? Or at least without making the engine. No, couldn't run off. How about that? I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I wasn't watching the camera again. Boy, this is a pain. I need a camera operator. Maybe I can get my wife to come be my camera operator. She'd make a good one. She'd make a good narrator too. Maybe we'll talk to her about that, see if she'll do that for me. Alright, so there's that pulley. I'll set that there for a minute. Aha. Problem number one. That has 3 bolts in the center. This has 4 bolts in the center. And the center stud doesn't have to come off for this one. So this pulley will not work on this balancer. So now we're back to, we got to get the long water pump and start looking and checking. So the long water pump will help me out with another thing too. Taking that radiator out, I noticed that lower radiator hose, when it came out of the water pump, was rubbing on this motor mount bracket. Now, these are the old style motor mounts on here. Probably came off the 6-cylinder, but they bolt to the front of the block and then over to the frame. If I had some decent fabrication stuff, I would probably change that and put the underneath and side motor mounts on it, the side motor mounts, the regular Chevrolet, but I don't, so I won't. These seem to hold good, although the rubber's a little squished in them. A little bit, not bad, but a little bit. So I will just leave them be for now. So next step, get a long water pump. I might have to just work on something else though until I can do that. So, all right, that's the status of the apparatus. So, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, real brief. Every good plan has a flaw, and the plan of putting that radiator to the inside of the core support will not work. It is 19¼ inches wide. At least, that's the minimum, and I don't have 19¼ inches in here, so that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to keep the radiator in front of the core support, which means keeping the short water pump. So I have to go back to the drawing board and get the brackets for the short water pump for the alternator, and then start the process of figuring out the pulleys. So I'll be doing that. So it was a good idea, Pat, to go to the long water pump, and I agreed with it. And if I had taken those measurements before, I would have told you that, and you would have said, oh, you can't do that, dummy. So, but anyway, it is what it is. We will keep the short water pump. I will probably pop it off of there and transfer the timing marks over to the side of the balancer so that I can get a pointer for to bolt through the timing cover, at least have a semblance of a timing mark. So I'll have to transfer that mark over when it's, at top dead center on the mark that's on there. Well, I don't have to take the water pump off. I can see it. I can see it right there. right at 12 o'clock position on the balancer. So I'll find 0 on that, find the mark on the harmonic balancer, get a new little, they're cheap, a little new pointer, move it over to the side over there, and then transfer the mark. So that won't be hard. So I will do that. So anyway, just a little update. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so the saga continues. I called the guy I got them brackets from, and he said he was pretty sure he had what I needed. Maybe, maybe not, a little bit. He did have, let me put some light on here so we can see what we're doing. He did have the short water pump upper bracket, I think, but I don't know if it's for this motor or not. It's got 2 bolt holes in it that go down to what I thought was the intake, but not this intake. One of them would, maybe, but then doesn't look to me like there's enough room for the lower to mount on the head. So I've got to try that and see, but I don't think that's going to work. So, and we did get a different lower pulley that looks like it'll extend the belt out some, but I'm not sure about that yet either. I'm almost to the conclusion that I'm just going to go aftermarket with all this stuff. And call Summit Racing and get the alternator brackets and both pulleys for a short water pump, a match set, so to speak. I don't know, these pulleys may work that I have, I don't know, I just don't know. We'll have to see. So that's where I am right now, back to the thinking about what I got to do stage, and I may just go aftermarket instead of trying to get the original type stuff. So anyway, that's where I am. This is why building hot rods is fun. So anyway, thanks. Bye.